How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have another video. But before we get into that, I do want to say a few shouts. First of all, to DBS Deck Planet for being the best and only deck builder in the game with a fantastic amount of features like importing your list to untap if you want to test out before you invest, and be able to print off the list instead of writing out easily before an event. Also, they are a deck builder that is built by the players for the players with a dedicated team behind them. And also, as well as that, I do want to shout out Duke's Gaming for sponsoring the webcam locals, being a great place to go, especially if you're from the UK at least, to pick up all your sold product for or even TCG needs. So if you have any TCG needs are in the UK, feel free to check them out in the description below. And lastly, feel free to like the video if you do enjoy it, comment down below any of your thoughts about the video, and even subscribe to the video. It keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop, and even if you click the notification bell, you can get alerts to when they do drop as well, and help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Right, let's check out the Green Turtle School deck. So as this is a continuation of the discussion video I've been doing, set discussion videos, going over each of the decks in Zenkai Series, and we're on green now, and we're going to look at the first one being the good side, being the Turtle School. So as always, we're going to start off with the leader, and the leader is Master Roshi. And then it flips over to Son Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, and Master Roshi reunited when it does awaken. And this is a leader that we haven't, we've had a few times in this game, where they start off with a fill card in play, and the fill card they get is Master Roshi's Training. So on the non-awakened side of the lead, it has that altar where when you play in the leader area, you get to play your fill card from your deck. So that's a nice benefit, because it means you're already one card through your deck, so your deck finning, which is deck winning, sooner rather than later. And also you have an altar which is kind of reminiscent from the beginning of the game, where when this card attacks a leader or a unison card, draw one card and add up to one card from your life to your hand. So it's, as I said, it's reminiscent of the early times of the game, where you have to attack into a leader to get a draw, which is less something you don't see as much nowadays, just an attack stuffing to get a draw. But it also does have draw power on the weakened side, on the front side, which is good, and also self-awakening if you need be, because even though the awakening does have an alternative awakening condition, it is nice to have that option built into your lead rather than have to rely on other cards to do so. And the awaken is if your life is at 4 or less and you have 3 or more Turtle School cards with energy cost of 3 in your play, you draw 2 cards and then flip it over. So it's a draw 2 awaken, which is the defensive side. And, well, because there's 3 different awakens, there's the defensive one in draw 2, there's the mid-range one in draw 1, untap 1, and then there's the aggressive version in untapping 2, which we haven't seen in a while, untap 2, which is, yeah, we haven't seen untap 2 for a while, that I can think of anyway. And when you do flip over, you're now all 4 different characters, and along with those 4 different characters, you get their 4 traits. You get Saiyan, Earthling, World Tournament, and Turtle School, which is the great new trait we got. So with the auto, you now just, when you attack, you draw a card, but now you also get to use up to 1 Turtle School card that's green with 5k combo power from your drop with the skills negated for the turn. So that means you get to charge your Zenkai energy, Z energy easier with your lead by doing it just anytime it swings. And now you have an activate battle to make final use of the Master Roshi's Training after when you want to go in for the kill by as the cost, choosing the Master Roshi's Training in your battle area and place it in the drop area. And then for each Turtle School card with a different character name in your Z energy, this card gets 5k power and double strike for the battle. And as far as I'm aware, there is no Roshi battle card at the moment. So you can only get up to 15k, because you can get a Goku, a Krillin, and a Yamcha, and get double strike. So 15k double strike to finish off for free is quite nice, and you'll be ramping Z energy to trigger some effects as well. And we'll bring out your Z battle card for this, because as I think I mentioned before, each color in this set has a Z card specifically for them mainly, but is only in red and black that has a Z leader for all their decks, whereas the other colors have a Z leader for one and a Z battle card for the other. And with the field card, it's just a normal free cost field card. It also has 2 activate mains, both once per turn as well. The first one is you place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck as the cost, and then you play up to 1 green turtle skull card with entry cost of 1 from your deck, and shuffle your deck. And now it might seem like you're negging to play a 1-drop, but each of the 1-drops have a way to replace themselves, either by drawing or by searching the top of your deck. So you're not really losing out, you're getting a card back. And you can even put a 1-drop you have in your hand back in your deck to play that same one from your deck as well, since you put it back before playing. And then you have activate main once per turn, play up to 2 turtle skull cards with entry cost of 1 from your deck and or drop area from in your opponent's battle area in rest mode with their skills negated for the turn. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it, and then you can't play non-World Tournament or non-Turtle Skull battle cards for the turn. So it gives you a bit of heavy restriction there, limit you to 2 certain types, but then you're going to be like quite focused on the archetype mainly for this, which is not a bad thing. And also this helps go towards some of the strategies in getting going through battles, because you go through for like a little chain for each of the characters, each of the pupils of Master Roshi, and putting 2 on your opponent's battle area means you can attack into them, and they're in rest mode, so they can't combo with them, and most of them have a permanent, well, the ones you're going to be putting on your opponent's board have a permanent or have an effect which limits the amount of combo power they can get from it if they do survive and they want to use them for combo and stuff like that. But it is a very good field card to help go towards your strategy if you want to go for the archetype in the deck. So let's go with the actual archetype. So we start off with Master Roshi's pupils in the beginning. So this is Son Goku, Krillin and Yamcha all at the training's beginning. They all have the same permanent, which is this card can't be KO'd by skills, either by you or your opponent. And also they have a second, also it's the same, which is when this card is using a combo from your battle area, it gets minus 4k power for the battle. So that's why if it's in the battle area, you can't really get its full combo potential. But then they all have different autos, like it's kind of the same for the first one. Like Krillin is the cantrip, when it's played you draw 1, so it's the guaranteed replacing itself. Well, the other ones are searches, so we got Goku, which is when this card is played, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add up to 1 green turtle skull card among them to your hand, then place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. And Yamcha is when this card is played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 green battle card, green turtle skull card with energy cost of 5 or less among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So Goku is a top 3 but can look for any turtle skull, whereas Yamcha is a look at top 5 but can only look at 5 or less turtle skull, which locks him up not being able to get only 2 of the cards, which, well, I think maybe 1 actually, because I don't think the other one doesn't have it. So yeah, so at least it's they both search. You should be able to like rarely whiff on them, but if you're afraid of whiffing, you just bring out Krillin though. And as I said, it's like a chain of cards they go up through for the archetype. So the next one is Master Roshi's pupils afterwards, with their skills improved. So yeah, once again, Goku, Krillin, and Yamcha. Now they all have a limit 1 on their skills, and the only difference, or the main difference being that they have different second autos. They're all 20k. Like Goku and Yamcha are 3 cost, while Krillin is a 5 cost, and Krillin is the only one with keyword skills in critical and dual attack. So they all have the similar first auto, where by paying 1 and fulfilling the condition, you can play them. So they can play them for cheap than actual printed cost, and it's essentially Krillin is the one that can come out later as well, because Krillin is the only one out of the 3 that requires a certain energy cost. But generally, they're all just when you choose one of your green turtle skull card. If you choose one of your green turtle skull that is the same character as the card itself, in your cards in your energy with an energy cost of 1 and place it in its own drop that you control. When one of your cards attacks and KOs an opponent's battle card, you essentially get to play this card, but Yamcha and Goku also draw a card as well. So Goku and Yamcha, just at any point you pay 1 green, sack off the same character as a 1-drop on your board. After your opponent attacks and KOs a battle card, you draw 1 and play itself. Whereas Krillin is, once you're 3 or less, you can do this, and it doesn't draw a card to replace itself. And then as I said, they've all got second autos, which are different. They're all limit 1 though, so you can only activate these skills once a turn across all copies of the card. And Goku's is when it attacks and KOs a battle card, switch to active mode and your opponent discards 1, so a little bit of hand control on that. Krillin's is if this card is in a battle, when your opponent activates a counter skill, they discard 1 card from their hand. Once again, a little bit of hand control, because it is green is green, and green is one of the color for hand control. So some greens they just stick a little bit of that in. And Yamcha's is when this card attacks and kills a battle card, switch to active mode, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, which energy cost of 5 or less, and kill it. So the other side of green, which is destruction. So green is normally a color that has like hand control properties and also like removal strategies, just KOing things. But that is the improved skills. So that's what you normally go up to. You get the 1-drops out onto your board. You give your opponent some 1-drops. You attack into ones you give your opponent. And when they're KO'd, you then get the pay the first ult on these cards to play them out from your hand and start hitting more and hitting it harder. And we also have some other not so good cards for this archetype in Chaozu, Tien Shinhan, Head to Head, and Chi Chi Promise Fulfilled. So Chaozu is just the 1-cost skillless. That is going to be decent though, not in this deck, but for the green Tien. So that's a little nice boost for that at least, because there's World Tournament and it goes with Tien. And then we have Tien with yet another super combo version of itself. I don't know if it's the 3rd or 4th version of Tien being a super combo in green, but I know there's a few, and it's just a standard. When your life is 4 or less and your lead is green, when it's using the combo, draw 1 card. Pretty standard. And Chi Chi is this kind of weird, odd, and different counterplay skill. So it's a 2-cost 5k, and its counterplay is if your leader is a Son Goku card, which you can use with this deck when you awaken, because your leader then becomes Son Goku. And you place this card in his owner's drop. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 2 or less, place it in his owner's drop area. So this is a counterplay that activates what on board. So it's not one that you normally have in your hand to trigger it within the cost. It's one you have to have on board to trigger the counterplay. But you don't play it for 2, you pay it cheaper because the permanent is if your leader is a green Turtle Skull card, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1, so you can place for a 1-drop in this deck, 2 in any other deck. And its auto is when this card is played, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, add a green Goku card amongst your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that is nice. And just remember there is differences between Son Goku Childhood and Son Goku, like this, because there's different versions of it, because there's different animes. And then we have the strong turn 5 clap, and this is what either deck can play, so this is going to be covered in the King Piccolo version as well, because in green, like similar to how blue had, they've got cards that can be used for both decks, and for this one it is Son Goku Fated Rival and Piccolo Fated Rival. So they're both 6-drops, is why we have Cell on board, because you can drop these together, because they do require both of them to drop them both. And then you can drop these 2, put some pressure on, and then sack them off. First tell Xeno to Successor into it, give yourself a big 40k attack, which if you're 5 or more energy, triggers his ult as well for a dual attacking quadruple strike. But so with the Goku we'll start off with first is a barrier 30k with double strike, and you can evolve it for free on top of a Son Goku Childhood with entry cost of 3 or more if you wanted to. And it's got a nice auto that works really well with any green deck. This is a nice kind of staple card for any green deck that's usable generically, which is also if your leader is green, when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Now this is great because, as I say in every one of my deck videos, is you need barrier removal. Barrier removal is key. Like every color needs it. Like blue is really lacking, but you need it in your deck because there are some cards that have barrier that have to remove, or even boss monsters and stuff that you need to deal with. And having barrier removal that is cheap and easy is very good, and this is a great one for green in general. And that's because with the activate main you can play it for cheaper by paying 2 green if your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you place one of your Saiyan, Earthling, or Namekian cards, all green from your Z energy at the bottom of his owner's deck. Play this card from your hand. Now that is really good in multiple ways because it's just 2 energy to play a 30k barrier double striker that can push through. It's barrier removal as well, and Saiyan, Earthling, and Namekian cards are quite prevalent in, easy to play in green because one of the main super combos we have that green has is 2 mainly, which is Paragus, the Paragus super combo, and the Great Saiyaman super combo, because they're both super combos that can allow you to see 2 cards. Paragus to be the better one because you get to draw 2 cards before you choose which one you're going to get rid of, and Great Saiyaman's got the one where you put a card from your bottom of your deck to draw 2 cards. And now Great Saiyaman's good for decks that want to put stuff back in deck that you want for later, or want a deck that want to play from deck, where Paragus is nice for just being able to see the 2 cards before warping to see if what you've got dead that you want to get rid of before, so you get that better option. And as a result as well, you can easily combo those, charge them for your Z energy, and have them ready for this when you use them. And the nice thing about this is the cost for the Z energy is to play at the bottom of his opponent's deck. So that means you can use a Paragon Super combo, Super off, charging Z energy, and drop this, put the Paragus back at the bottom of your deck, and you now just use the Super combo, and you've got it back again, giving you 5 Super combos or more, depending on how many times you use it, which is very, very nice. I like that interaction a lot. And then you've got the Piccolo Junior Fated Arrival that goes with it. This one is a 25k dual attack, so not as easy protected, but still 25k is a good spot. And dual attack means you get 2 swings out of it. And it's evolved for 2 on top of a Piccolo Junior energy cost of 3 or more. And it's also is not once per turn, so and is on attack as well. So dual attack means you can trigger this twice. And it's if your leader is green, when this card attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from the hand each time it attacks. So if you do this with the Zelzeno on turn 5, you're going to be ripping 5 cards out of their hand for free energy, which is really, really good. And putting in a lot of pressure as well to potentially like really hit hard on your opponent. And then we've got Activate Main. This is a way you're going to play it cheaper, but it's limit 1, so this one can be used once, only played once a turn across all copies of the card. And that's by paying 1 green, and if you have a Son Goku Fated Arrival in play, you play this card from your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's Unisons and remove 1 marker from it for each card in your Z energy. So that's really nice if you rank up a lot of Z energy, which this deck can do quite well with the leader being able to charge for free when it's awakened. And that is potentially just wipe out your opponent's Unison. Like you can drop a nice thing with this is if you've got free Z energy and your opponent's got a Boo on board, you can just, with 4 markers, you can drop the Goku, sending one of your Z energy, probably a super combo that you've already used back, pop Zenkai Barrier, swing it Boo Unison, drop it down to 2 markers, and that's when they didn't negate it. Then drop the Piccolo, which then removes the last 2 markers on it because you still got 2 Z energy, and then swing your opponent twice, make a discard 2 from the Piccolo, and then drop Cell Zeno. Hopefully you get 5 more energy to then trigger its effect. That's a really strong play. I really like that play, and it's got me even more excited about green, even though I do love green. Then we've got a nice little extra hand control route you can go with it, because as we saw, some of the skills improved cards have some hand control qualities in them, and you'll be attacking opponents' battle cards to be able to trigger to get them out and stuff like that. So, and you'll be giving them cards, so you won't be attacking the leader often to try and get these effects off, which is quite nice. And you can go an extra hand control route because you've got the Android 18 super combo, Bionic Blitz as well, which allows you to force your opponent to bottom deck a card from the hand, limiting the cards in the hand. And you have the new TP Kaioken Son Goku the Furious. This is meant to be a TP promo to support the old green Goku deck back in set 15, but it's not really going to be used for that because that deck just seems to be armed out. And this one is nice because it's a 5 cost, 15k critical. It means it's great to be sacked off for Fuse Zamasu here, which is also a bit more hand control. And it's great because it's 15k critical, so when you attack on your opponent, it can match the attack power of your opponent's awakened side as long as they're not Z awakened. And well, if that Z awakened leader has 2k or more, and that means that your opponent's either going to want to combo out, or if they hit the hit, they're losing card from hand, so they're not getting the card to hand, which means they're losing out either way. They're either comboing out of it, making lose cards from hand, which if you lead at 15, they're either use a 5k combo, which means they lost a card from hand, or they're wasting a super combo to over combo against it, just to try and not lose cards from hand. And you still make them lose a card from hand even if it doesn't connect, because it's also as when this card is played from your hand, your opponent discards 1 card, so you can potentially make your opponent lose 2 cards from this one by just playing it, making discard 1, swinging your lead, making them try to combo out to avoid getting a critical hit. And you play this for cheap because you activate main, which is limit 1 for 1 green. If you have 3 or more mono green energy, you play this card from your hand, which means you can put some. This just comes down for 1 once you hit free energy. So then, same with Zamasu, that can be used when it's free energy. So this goes really well together. And even if you want to push through the damage, you can go to a good point being 25k by using the Activate Battle, which is once per turn. By paying 1 green, this card gets 10k power for the battle and then minus 10k power for the next turn. But that isn't going to matter because the next turn after you swung with this, you're going to be sacking it off for Fuse Zamasu, which has a nice auto when it attacks. Your opponent chooses 1 card in hand and place it in the drop area. So that's a nice way to, and also comes down for using the active main for 1 energy too. So this is a nice little hand control route I thought people might be interested in putting in, and because you can go with either a hand control route or an aggressive route with this deck, it seems quite flexible. And then we have the Z cards for green. Now green kind of got a bit shafted on the Z cards. They don't have as many good generic ones it's like heavily archline. Like the starter deck got a leader one, that's locked to a certain deck. The Ever Z card in green is for the Ever deck, the King Piccolo deck, and it's a Z leader, so that's locked to that one. And then we got these two, which freezes the only generic one we've got. And the Goku, Krillin, and Yamcha Turtle School Inheritors are mainly for this deck. So this deck does get that access to that, but general green decks just get Freezer essentially. So we'll start with the Freezer, be the generic one, which is a 2 green, 15k, which requires also 1 Z energy to be sent from your Z energy to your drop. And it has Deflect and Double Strike, means it's not going to be stopped from coming down. And Double Strike is nice to just pressure more damage or more markers for Unison. And it's got 2 very decent autos. First one is a bit of removal that given to any green deck now, which is when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 5 or less and KO it. Now that's really nice, just giving any green deck access to a KO for 5 or less if they want to. And the other one's pretty relevant if you're attacking with something else that's an green battle card for the turn, because it's auto once per turn. You place 1 of your Z energy in his owner's drop, and remember that's quite cheap because you need 1 Z energy to play this. If you have a second one charge, you have it ready for this. And the effect is when one of your evergreen battle cards with energy cost of 2 or more attacks, your opponent discards 1 card from the hand, which is quite nice, a bit more hand control. And the great thing about this is you can get 2 of these out, swing on the board at the same time, swing with 1, which triggers the Ever, and then swing with the Ever trigger the first, which is really nice. And then the one for the one for specifically this deck is a 20 cost free cost 20k with 2 Z energy required for it as well. So 3 energy and then 2 Z energy is required for this. It has deflect, so it's not going to be stopped from coming down. And always got an activate main, which is quite decent because you can spam my board. And that is activate main if your opponent has 3 or more energy and you place 1 Turtle School card from your Z energy in its owner's drop. Play up to 1 green Turtle School card with 20k power, and that doesn't have Master Roshi, and which you haven't played this turn, from your deck with its keyword skills to get for the turn and shuffle your deck. So that's quite interesting because there's no really Turtle School card that has Master Roshi in it. So unless that's like looking at future support, I'm not sure. But you can essentially, for like in a turn, drop this and drop for just 3 energy and essentially 5 Z energy for 20k swing attackers, because they still have their auto skills, they just have their keyword skills. Remember, autos and activate mains, activate battle, activate main / battle are not keyword skills, despite what people think from reading the rulebook. So you bring them out, and the only one that really loses anything is Krillin losing its dual attack and crit, but they still have their autos trigger. And also this is really nice because we're bringing out you bring out a 5 drop and 2 free drops, which give you 11 cost of power of battle cards on the board that are green. So if you just use the Fields effect to play a 1 drop from your deck using its first activate main, you don't have 12 ready, just chuck Cell Zeno out in 1 turn, which is very, very nice. So that's never a good way. Cell Zeno just seems a very good and very easy to drop card in this deck as well. And then we have the Unison and some Ever options. So the Unison for this side of the green is Uring, Crane School Witchcraft Master, which is a 1 specified cost 5k Unison with green power green 4. And that's relevant because the auto is if this guy has 5 or more markers. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Then it's got 2 marker skills of +2 and a -4. +2 is activate main, choose up to 1 of your green battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less, and it gets 5k power for the turn. Not too bad. And the -4 is choose up to 1 of your green leaders, and it gets 5k power and double strike for the turn. So it's got some nice skills, but being a 1 specified cost 5k that you get more markers if you replace something with is not worth, because if you just drop this on the turn, it's going to be very to run into, being a 5k, even though it gains 2 markers. And really, when you look at this, most people are going to just look at this and compare it to Demigra, which is a lot better Unison. That's easy to stay around and most likely a better choice for a 1 specified cost, unless you're playing Caller, and even then you're playing in Caller anyway as the first Unison you play. And then we got Ever good options for this. So if you want to try and be like anti-meta for the Zenkai series, SS Bardock Paternal Unison is a good one for you because it's a 2 specified cost green Unison, and the auto on it is the main thing that makes it anti-meta against the Zenkai Series, because its auto is when your opponent combos, you may place up to 1 card from the combo area in its owner's drop area, and if you do, negate its skill for the turn. Now this is good if you're going for hand control as well, because the hand control route wants to limit your opponent, the number of cards in your opponent's hand, and having this means when you're swinging at your opponent with things, if they're trying to combo out to save their life, you're basically ripping cards from the combo area, meaning if you want to keep trying to combo out, they have to do it again. And also it means you can stop certain things from going to your opponent's combo area by ripping it from their combo if you want to, once a turn. And it's got some nice effects, like you can't KO the 1-drops with this, so the +1 isn't that great in this. It's the 1-drop's just immune to KO by both you and your opponent, but the -3 can come in for handy for a finisher, because it's basically just for free markers taking it off. You get a 20k triple attack for the turn. Now if you want extra board removal, you also have King Vegeta, Invasion's Command. The main thing about this is the first bit of it with the counter attack and permanent is irrelevant, not a great use, but it's a free specified cost 19k Unison, and its +1 is the greatest quality of it, which is activate main, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand or one of the battle areas ignoring barrier, and send it to its owner's drop. And this is great because where it's sending to the owner's drop, it's bypassing things that stop them from getting KO'd, because you're not KOing the card, you're sending it to the drop. So it's all about wording in that sense. And if you don't want to get rid of something from your opponent's board, you can also just rip something from your opponent's hand, and you get the choice at random from the hand. So when I say by at choice but at random, it means you don't get a look at the hand, you just get the pick at random, but you get to choose rather than them choose something from the hand that they don't want, discarding it, so you can potentially rip out super combos and stuff from your opponent's hand. And then we have the Unison Package. So green is one of those that has a heavy Unison package, mainly using a Unison, a super Unison, 4 copies of super combo, 4 charismatic, or between up to 4 charismatic and dormant potential unleashed, because dormant potential unleashed is a fantastic floodgate, as it's one that's hard to counter, and limits your opponent to 2 attacks a turn if you used it. But it does come at a heavy cost of using 2 cards from your hand itself and discarding a green card. But with a Unison play, you can play it for free using its permanent, and freeze is a fantastic counter play to go with it, because it's free to use when you got a Unison with 2 markers on it, and its counter play is just play it, and its good effect is in the auto, where when it's played, you pop one of your opponent's battle cards with 7 costs or less. And then we have the super combo, which you either use this great set of man you got on board if you want to put stuff to the bottom of your deck, or normally you're going to be using Paragus if you don't use this one. That's just how it has been for a while in green. And then we got some other secret options. I say other because we've already seen Cell Zeno is a great way and have some good ways of dropping it. But you also have Majin Buu Kibito Kai as a way to floodgate, similar to how Pan and Baby Hatcher stuff do, by limiting how many attacks your opponent can get. Because its activate main / battle is for 2 green energy, you play it from your hand and make it so your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn. So you can either drop it for 2 energy as a 40k double striker, which is still good, or use it as a floodgate to drop in your opponent's turn when they attack for 2 green energy to stop them from attacking with battle cards. And if they attack with a battle card, it doesn't stop that attack, but it means it stops other attacks from them. And as well as that, if you want to take a Unison away from your opponent that they're either going in on you with, or it's giving you trouble, then you got the auto, which is Spirit Boost 2. When this card is played from your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards and gain control of it. So that's a nice way to steal your opponent's Unisons, being if they've got a baby Unison on board, snatch that away from them. If you got a Boo Unison, snatch that away from them. This is just a very good secret rare and my favourite one for green. And because the leader gains Goku on the Awakened side and that allows it to have the Saiyan trait, you can even play this new Bardock Origin of the Legend. And this comes down for 3 energy. If your leader is a card Saiyan card and your opponent has 3 more energy, you get to play this, and then tap something of your opponent's down. So tap any of their cards down, which is something you don't see in green. So this is a nice little surprise to give them. And it being 8 cost, deflect means it's out the way and untouchable by the 3 counter plays we get on every colour. And it has double strike and dual attack, means you can put some pressure, especially at 40k. And it's got a nice floodgate effect. It's activate main if you can't kill them by removing this card from the game. You're choosing up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, popping them, and then making it so your opponent can only attack 1 time with battle cards, means you can save. It's lifestyle helpful if you don't want to use a dormant or haven't got a dormant for the next turn. And then we got some green tech options. So if you want to go the hand control route, you also have Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, a nice way to combo up cheaply for 1 energy on a leader or battle card. and also allowing you to rip a card from your opponent's hand at random of your choice, which is great. And you have Majin Buu Unadulterated Malice. Like, if you've seen how strong Toppo is, then this is basically the same, just on with a little less of a cost, well, the same kind of cost, less power, but at least you don't have to discard before it comes down. It's just in case it's stopped, you discard on when it's played, but it does the same thing of your opponent, making it so your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose 2 cards from hand. And the good thing about this is all in the counter attack skill, so it can't be negated by anything that stops, like autos and stuff like that. And then with Armor Solid Clone, so this is green's token negate, and it's one of the good ones because for this one, reds and blacks, they give you a token that has combo power, so if you don't use it as a blocker for the next attack or for the rest of that turn, it then loses blocker, because blocker is only for the turn, but you can still use it as combo power. And every deck really needs to use the token negates, because if you come against the new Vegeta Secret Rare, Vegeta Zeno Secret Rare, you're going to want it for that, because being hit by a quad strike when you got no negate is going to be hard if you can't combo out of a 40k, and then just had your opponent piling on. So this is green's one, which is really, really good as well. Then we have even more green tech options as well. So if you are afraid of big battle cards coming down and want to get rid of them, then you've got Cocoons if you want to. It's 2 costs during your opponent's turn because it's permanent while your lead is green, and it's just negate attack and play this card. But the relevance of that is also when you play it, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So if your opponent drops something big and wants to swing with it, you can then for 2 negate the attack, play this, and then pop it, or pop something else if you want to. And the only issue with this is it's susceptible to Broly Crown Retribution, because you've got to keep 2 energy open to be able to use it. And then you've got Bigger More if you want to stop their attacks. If you don't want to wait for them to attack and kill it with Cocoonza, you've got Bigger More to stop them from attacking with it. Because this is a activate main, if your leader is green, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy cost of 5 or more until the start of your next main phase. And the thing with that is, you have to do it way before they do anything. So if they're planning to do something on their turn, like with a big 8-drop or 6-drop or more, and then you drop this the turn before, then they can just change it to play and not go for that and go for something else instead. So this does stop some big scary things, like if you're scared of Gogeta, the Gogeta 8-drop, then this is what green has to stop it from attacking, but then they can always go for a different route. And if you don't like hand control and want to deal with that, then you have the SS Vegeta Majin Exterminator if you don't want to put in and leave energy open for Deborah, because this is something that only this colour and yellow have, which if your lead is green, when this card is discarded from your hand, by opponent's skill, you get to play it from your drop, and when you play it, you draw 1. So essentially, if your opponent goes discard a card, you get okay, discard this, play it, draw 1, you've lost nothing because you replace it in your hand, and now have this free 5k on board for combo power. And that brings us to the end of the video, because that is everything covering the Master Roshi Turtle School archetype. So I hope you enjoyed this and hope it was useful. Feel free to like the video if you found it useful and joyful. If you have any comments or anything about this or what I've said, or have any agreements or any things to add, then feel free to comment down below. And if you're not subscribed, feel free to sub. It keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop, and helps me out greatly against my goal of 1,000 subs. So thank you.